What was your favorite food when you were a kid?
But I know exactly what it was. I lived in Regensburg, which is a town in Bavaria, and the national dish in Bavaria are dumplings, potato dumplings, and roast pork with gravy. And it was so awesome. I just totally loved it. That was my favorite meal growing up as a child.
And what language were you speaking?
I grew up with two languages. I spoke German to my dad, I spoke German with the kids on the street, my friends, and I spoke Polish with my mom and my grandmother and my aunt.
When did you learn English?
When I came to Canada, when I was 11 years old. When I came here, I did not know a word of English. There was no ESL. I just got plunked into a class and, just had to learn the language.
Do you have any pets?
When I was in Germany, I had a German Shepherd pup that my parents got for me, and I loved that dog. He was one of the best memories and best pets that I ever had.
Did your family have a radio or a television?
Oh, no television. Television wasn't invented when I was that age. Well, it may have been invented, but it certainly wasn't available. And we had a radio at home, but I didn't listen to radio much, especially in Germany. Mainly what I remember there playing was classical music.
What is your happiest memory as a child?
Well, I guess my happiest memory is not being orphaned. And what I mean by that is one night when I was 4 and 5, there were always bombing raids happening and bombs were falling. And usually we'd have to get up in the middle of the night and we'd have to go to an air raid shelter. And one time the planes were already starting to drop bombs and I was about 4, I guess. My mom just told me to run quickly to the shelter, which I did. And then I sat there and I waited and my mom didn't come for the longest time, and I thought something had happened to her and that I was going to be all alone for the rest of my life. And then she walked into the shelter, and I think that was probably my happiest memory.
What do you think is the most important thing you've done?
Oh, you know what? That's actually a very easy question. I think the most important thing I've done is I have been fortunate enough to have raised 3 wonderful boys. Just wonderful, wonderful sons. Your dad being one of them, and I'm very lucky to have them. They've all been just fabulous human beings. And I think that's probably been an accomplishment, I guess, of mine.
What is the biggest difference that you can see between life when you were a child and being a child today?
That's also an easy question. And the answer is, do you think you know what I'm going to say?
No.
The answer is electronics. See, when I was a boy, there were no computers, no TV, no cell phone, no internet, no Facebook, no online games, no game, none of that existed. So of course, our fun was very, very different than it is now. We just generally, played outside, or we played games, we played board games, we played card games, we played hide and seek and chasing each other around, whatever. I mean, that's what there was. We read books, but we had no electronics at all when I was a child. So it was a very different way to grow up. Certainly our pastimes, and even, I guess, our education was, as a result, very different. But I had a wonderful childhood, despite all that. Even though I was growing up during the war with bombs falling all around us for the first several years of my life, it was still I was fortunate in having good parents and having a good childhood.